Hello again! I hope you have had a fantastic week. As you know, we were gone to Wonderfest for the past week, and we had a fabulous time. It is always such a great time. Were you able to attend? I sure hope so. If not, perhaps you can make it next year. We will have some video footage to look through tonight as we enjoy hanging out together. As far as announcements for the week go, we don't really know which way is up at the moment. The last few weeks have really been a blur, but we are on track to be back to some kind of normal very soon. We do have quite a bit of new products hitting the website starting tomorrow. Things like tenor controls, fun decals, Mobius, Pegasus, and even a couple of those perfect grade Bandai Millennium Falcon kits. We also have over 1,000 different accessory items coming back in stock finally. From brands like Edward and Resket. There are restocks and new items from model kit brands too, like ICM, Micromere, Trumpeter, Tamiya, Airfix, Mini-Art, and many more. Many of you have patiently been waiting on our Squadron merch section to be restocked. Well, tomorrow the hats will go back on sale, including the camo and the black ones. We will also have our new lapel pin up for sale. Speaking of pins, did you happen to get one of our 2025 model contest pins on your model at Wonderfest? We put out several of them in the contest on models that really caught our eye for one reason or another. If you received one, I hope that you will email us pictures of the model. We had a great time looking through the contest and leaving those pins. Well, I suppose I should end this transmission now before I start ragging on Brandon about not finishing his Dora yet. Ha!
What's going on, everybody? It is Wednesday night, and here we are with Squadron Live. I appreciate everybody being with us. It's always a good time and certainly a highlight of my week being here with you guys. The last couple of weeks or few weeks has been a bit crazy, but we are on the verge of being back to a sort of normal schedule around here, or at least I hope so. We just got back from Wonderfest a couple of days ago. That was a great time. We'll be talking about that a bunch tonight, I assume. I've got a video that I'll start playing here in just a few minutes. But let me say hello to everybody that's here tonight. To start with, Lawn Care is here. How are you, buddy? And looks like Danny made it in tonight. And Danny says, looking forward to seeing everybody's models tonight. So just in case you didn't get the memo last week, tonight is not the show and tell. We have pushed that back a week. Usually it is the first Wednesday of the month, but this month it is going to be the second Wednesday of the month. It will be next Wednesday night, the 11th. We just were not 100% sure how it was going to be when we got back from Wonderfest, and I did not want to not be able to get everybody's models into the show and tell. So you've got one more week. Send those models in, and hopefully we'll have a great turnout next week for the show and tell. Let's see. Good to see you tonight, Stephen. Sorry to hear about your surgery. I hope you recover and get back to normal really, really fast. And David, good to see you tonight down in Florida. Let's see, Carlos is here, and Derek, good to see you. Chili fries in hand. You know, That sounds really good. Enjoy those. Wayne, good to see you tonight, buddy. Tom, down in the villages of the White Sands. And yes, I did get the picture, Tom, of Jeff's new battleship, as you're calling it. I don't have it queued up to show tonight, so we'll throw that in the show and tell next Wednesday night. But it is kind of funny and kind of cool at the same time. Let's see. Good to see you tonight, Ken. And Bittleboy is here doing another book review. Sounds like a good time. Rex, good to see you and Jason. Bill's here and hey, Jeff's here. Guess we'll be seeing him in a few moments. Arnell, good to see you tonight. Ed, good evening. And TD is here. We're having a good week, buddy. Hope you are as well. JL out in San Francisco is with us. Oh, goodness. Mountbatten Pink and the battleships. Let's see. Rich is here. Let's see, Rob. Any update on the P40Ns? They are coming. We have not opened pre-orders up for them yet. Just still kind of waiting on confirmation that we don't have to adjust our price any. I'm kind of starting to think we're not going to have to, but you never know. This stuff is changing every day. On another note, on P40s, the P40E Profi Pack, however we say that, those will actually be here in the next couple of days. We did open the pre-orders back up for those a day or two ago, so you can get a pre-order put in for those. Or like I said, they'll be here in a couple of days if you want to wait and order them along with other things. Let's see, Lee is here. Good to see you. And Rich, yeah, their P40 is going to be pretty fantastic. Their new tool P40 kit is really, really nice. So the N variant will be good, and I don't know what else they've got planned, but if I had to guess, considering they spent a lot of time, money, and effort on tooling up a new P40, they've surely got plenty of plans and to do other versions of that. So we'll see what they've got cooking. Howdy to you too, Sparky. Jim, good to see you. And Frank is here. Matt, hello. Got a lot of guys in here tonight. Jeremiah was a bullfrog, says he's low on hot sauce. Call in the habanero bomber. Yes, we can we can get you hooked up, buddy. It's interesting. The hot sauce was a pretty big hit at Wonderfest. It's funny. Everybody that walked up to the table and grabbed a bottle of hot sauce to buy it, they picked it up and laughed and then bought it. So I don't know exactly what the laugh was for, but I was laughing right along with them. I guess it is kind of funny seeing hot sauce at a model show, but we got to have what we got to have. You know what I mean? Let's see. Gordon is with us. Rick Bang is here. Good to see you tonight. Rick, as far as the rest of the colors we've got cooking, we are working on them as quick as we can. That is one of the things that I've got to get on. I've actually got a lot of them ready that Crystal's done and made up for us, but I've got to take pictures of the bottles and get them on the website. So that's what I'm going to be doing over the next few days now that I'm back from the show. Not just paints, but all sorts of accessories and model kits. We've got literally thousands of new products that are sitting in the warehouse waiting for me to or waiting for us to take pictures and get them put up on the website. And there are certainly several paints. So I don't know which specific colors we've got ready now, but they'll be rolling out onto the website over the next few days. Let's see, Steven's here. Good to see you. And Preston and Miami is here. Let's see. Send me a hat, Dave says. Well, we will have them up for sale tomorrow, finally, at long last. And Dave, going back to the paint here for a second, the Fletcher sets, going right along with what I was just talking about, getting things put on the website, the different sets and the instructions and whatnot, and the paint guides up on the scalecolors.com website. That is also something that we're going to be jumping back on as quick as possible, starting with the Star Trek Enterprise color call outs. That's going up first, and then we've got a bunch of other things in the works too, Fletcher being one of those. But we will have some of that information up as soon as possible. Let's see, Jim's with us. I see I got somebody clicking in on here. Let's see. Oh, it's my brother. Hey, Jared, how are you?
Hey, everybody. Doing good. Good to be back.
Yeah, nice to have you. You've been bailing out on us the last few weeks. It's good to have you back.
Yeah, glad to be here. Good to hang out with everybody.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Frank's noticing what I got in the background here. Yeah, so this is Revell's Type 7C, and I do intend on building it, but I can't start it yet. You guys know what I have to finish before I start the next project. But the reason that is sitting there is we are finally, at long last, getting our upper pressure hull for that kit put back into production. Yankee Model Works produced that years ago. Of course, we bought that company and offered it under Blue Ridge Models as a resin item, and now we have completely redesigned it, and they are now back into production as of this week, and they should be for sale on the website, I hope, within a week or two. But this is the prototypes, and I had to get that out to make sure everything fit like it used to and like it's supposed to, and the good thing is that it does. So you'll be seeing these up on the website. We've already got the item on the website, just to let everybody know it's coming soon, but we'll get it priced up and open up orders for it soon. Oh, look, there's another one.
Surprise!
How are you?
I'm awake.
We see that.
It's one of the things that we have to remember is that I'm a little older than you guys are, so you bounce, yeah, just a little bit. But
And you're still sitting upright. That's always a plus.
Well, that's because I'm propped up in the back. But yeah, it's I'm still recovering from the Wonderfest trip.
Oh gosh, yeah. Well, to a certain extent, I think we all are.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, Ron and Chris, Kenneth, we're almost to the bottom of this. I got to get this video started. So this walkthrough video of Wonderfest is an hour long. So this is going to pretty much be the whole show tonight. So we'll, but you guys, as this video plays, we'll just keep talking and hanging out. But got any questions about what we're seeing on the screen, throw them down in the chat, and we'll come up with some fun stuff to talk about, hopefully.
Yeah, this was an amazing show. This was my very first Wonderfest, and I just blown away.
Well, I'm glad that you were able to make it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's Jose sitting here. Hey, Jose, how are you, buddy? Good to see that you're feeling better, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next week. All right. Well, let me get this started. There's no sound. It's just kind of the same thing we've been doing the past few weeks, with a video kind of playing in the background as we hang out and talk and chat and everything. So this that you're seeing here, guys, is the line waiting to get into the vendor room on Saturday morning.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, Jared, you've been going with me. You went this year, you went last year, but prior to that, it's been a little while since you went.
Right.
What was it? 10, 15 years ago?
Yeah, it was 2012 was the last time I went before last year. So it's definitely been a while.
Yeah. Well, how do you, what do you remember from 2012 versus this year? Is it kind of the same? Is it a lot bigger, a lot smaller? What do you think?
It's definitely gotten bigger. I don't remember there being quite as many people there, and definitely not as many models in the room. I think the model room was maybe half that size, so it's at least doubled since then.
Yeah.
And they renovated the hotel, so it definitely looks a little bit different than it did back then.
Right. Yeah. And this, for in case you guys don't know, this is what they call the B room. Now, they have 2 vendor rooms. This is vendor room B. But yeah, Jared, to your point about the model contest being bigger. So this year and last year, they had well over 1,000 models in the contest. And before that, they had never, to my knowledge, had never broke 1,000 entries in the contest. So it's definitely bigger than it was the last time that you were there.
Right.
But it's a lot of fun. Jeff, this was your very first time
Yes.
going. I mean, what's your first thought? I mean, if most of us have been to an IPMS show, perhaps an AMPS show, but like yourself, maybe not this show or a show like this, what was your first thoughts, on this compared to a regular old IPMS show?
I guess and I'm guilty of it, my entire life, is that I've always known that like science fiction and movie models and things of that were always kind of a smaller genre of the hobby overall. But I didn't realize how wrong that I was.
Right.
For them to put a show together of this size, with that many people all the time,
right,
throughout the entire run of it was like this. What you're seeing on the screen now,
yep.
It was like that for 2 days. There
Yep.
was no lunch break lull. Nobody wanted to leave at the end of the day.
Right. Yeah. Let me answer this real quick, Jeff, before we get too much further. Steven says, looks like a mix of a sci-fi convention with a model show. Yeah. That B room, that room is primarily the, how would we say it? The non-model kit related vendors. That's where the celebrities are. You saw Robin and Marta in there. They had the Jaws guy, a lot of that kind of stuff, T-shirts. So the non-model kit guys primarily go over there. And now we're walking around in vendor room A, and this is primarily your model kits, resin kits, 3D stuff. And there's Jared. So that's kind of how they break that up.
Yeah. When you first walked in, one of my favorite vendors that was there was Cretaceous Creations, Shane Foltz, and his dinosaur kits are just stunning.
Right.
Absolutely. And I've kind of become a dinosaur guy. That's kind of like my latest. That's the part of the hobby that doesn't involve work, because we're not doing anything with dinosaurs right now. So, so I'm kind of doing dinosaurs right now.
Oh yeah.
But just the quality of the work on both sides, on the modeling side in the exhibit room, and then in the vendor room as well. It's different because, and it's really even kind of different, like with us. If you come to the Squadron table and you pick up a box, 90%, 95% of the product that we carry and that we sell, we don't produce it. But at Wonderfest, you're sitting there across the table talking to the guy that actually sculpted that particular piece. These are the creators. They're not just retailers or resellers in a lot of cases.
Well, you certainly have some of that.
Oh yeah. But I mean,
I know what you're saying.
For me, it was a thrill getting to talk to Shane, because he's creating these dinosaur kits, and I just look at it and these folks as well with the replica prop guns from
that's Jared hung out there a lot. That replica's Jared. That's kind of you kind of into all that, aren't you?
Oh yeah, I've gotten a good few things from them over the years.
Yeah, I was just blown away. I mean, and there's a perfect example. Lucille Ball in a Starfleet uniform, in the captain's chair, and Star Trek fans obviously know Lucille Ball was directly responsible for getting Star Trek off the ground and whatnot. But to see that sort of, it's mind-boggling. I mean, I'm at a loss for words. I really am. The show is still, it's one of the most motivational shows that I've ever gone to. I always come away from model shows thinking that I'm motivated to do a project, or I'm excited about taking on a project for the following year or whatever. I've never come away from a show being as motivated to do something outside of my normal box of ships and aircraft and armor.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, it'll certainly get you thinking. Every time you walk through the room, you just about, you can't help yourself. I know, I know Jared over the past couple of days. Jared, you've been telling me all the things you want to try to get done.
Oh yeah, I have a really big to-do list before next year.
Yeah.
You should have seen these two guys up here at the show. They were like kids in a candy store. Jared would run off for like 2 minutes, and then he'd come back all excited and he'd say, "Look what I found this over here." And Brandon would go running off, and then he'd come back with an armful of boxes, and they'd be cramming stuff under the tables. And
Well, this when we go to the IPMS shows, of course, obviously, I love those shows, but it is kind of difficult for me to find something at an IPMS show that I can't buy from myself.
exactly.
Because that's kind of our thing. But like this table we're looking at here, that's Mark at Filmies Girls. Those kits that he makes, or your
amazing.
dinosaur kits that you're talking about
Yep.
with Cretaceous. Some
Yep.
of these guys, the only way you can get them is to buy them directly from the man that sculpts them. And some of these guys, like Mark, only sells these at Wonderfest. Like you literally can't get them except for Wonderfest.
Wow,
and
look at this big layout.
yeah, that's somebody was trying to go big or go home there.
Right?
Who's that guy?
Like they
Who's
were
that
showing
guy?
off or something.
Who's that guy hanging out over there in the corner taking? Up
I don't know.
space?
We were trying to get him to leave, but he just wouldn't leave the booth for some reason.
Never would.
But as you can see, we added lights to our display booth this time, and I think that it was an excellent thing. I think that's kind of gonna kind of be the new thing for us, is lighting up the booth, because a lot of times these venues, they're not really made for this. I mean, this room is probably made for a nice low lit dinner kind of ballroom kind of setting. We like stuff to be bright so we can see what we're looking at. So, we'll be bringing the lights.
It was kind of funny. At the end of the day, we would click the lights off, and it was just like night and day.
Oh yeah, all of a sudden you couldn't see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's the current state of the colors. Jeff, you were sitting there painting dinosaurs all weekend, and that was really nice.
Oh, it was a great icebreaker, because people would walk up, and if they had questions, nobody really questioned any of the colors. They looked at the color palette and they're like, "Wow, you got everything."
Right.
But when people would question, what is this, an acrylic, or do I have to thin it? What thinner are you using? When we kind of just hit on those talking points, it really, it was really kind of cool to have just the ability to sit there and paint, and people. Yep. And I had people that were making laps, because everybody was making laps. And when the Spinosaurus first arrived there, it was just in primer, and I guess it was about lunchtime on Sunday, it was finished. Yep. And everybody that was there was amazed that whole thing went from primer to finished in just a few hours.
Yep. Oh, and just in case you guys are wondering, the reason there's like nobody here is this is before the show started Saturday morning.
Yep.
Once the show started, I didn't have time to leave and take videos. And that's even the case in a few minutes when we get to the contest room. Wonderfest is nice enough on Sunday mornings, a couple hours before the show actually starts, they allow the vendors to come into the contest room, just vendors only, and we're able to just take an hour or two and just enjoy the contest room, which is really nice, and something that I really wish that like all shows would get into, because once the show starts, we don't have time to go and enjoy the show. So the extent, you're talking about Jared and I running around finding stuff, the extent of doing that and the extent of going and enjoying the contest room is primarily before the show starts.
Yeah.
In a minute, you'll see a video. I took one or two small clips of after the show started, and there's just people everywhere. I mean,
you couldn't move.
Yep.
Yeah.
You couldn't move. And in some instances, people were 2 and 3 deep at the table. And even there was literally a line going down our table for people waiting to get in front of the paint rack.
Yep.
It was really something to see.
Yep, it's really neat. Like I said, I always have a great time at this show, and if anybody is able to make it, even if this is not your primary modeling subject, it's still a fantastic show. And Jeff, it might have been you that said it to me. Regardless of what kind of model you paint or build, the techniques carry over from one genre to another.
Absolutely.
We're looking at large scale monsters and girls and robots and all these things, but the same techniques that are used to paint these 12-inch and 24-inch tall figures, those same techniques transfer over to our 35th scale and our 16th scale soldiers.
Yep, absolutely.
And you can learn a whole lot from outside the box, if you will. If the box is an IPMS show, coming to something like this where these guys they don't do their models the way that we do.
No.
And you can learn a thing or two and pick up a couple of techniques that perhaps are different than what we in the IPMS world traditionally use.
Yeah. After we were done on Saturday night, we had a couple of hours of downtime, and I went back and sat at the bar in the hotel.
There's the man in charge.
Yep. And this gentleman comes up and sits down next to me and starts asking me paint questions. He had seen me there and had seen me painting the Spinosaurus. Well, within 15 minutes, we've got 10 people sitting around at the bar, and we're all talking about painting techniques and crossover techniques from armor and aircraft and ships.
Well, and that'll happen when you're at a show like this. You got to figure 95% of the people in the hotel are probably here at Wonderfest.
Yep.
So it's just really neat. And yeah, now this is the video I was talking about where the show is actually open now and there's people everywhere, and you got oh yeah, this was cool. Yeah, there's the dinosaur set, by the way.
Yeah. So Matt, I know Matt Johnson had put that up. He's currently working on the Pegasus hobby Spinosaurus. Those sets are available.
Yep.
Matt, they're on the website and they are available.
They may not be on the website available yet. They're on the website. I don't know if you can order them. They'll be that falls in that category of I've got to take some pictures. I know they're there. I just don't know if the inventory is put into where they can be ordered yet, but that'll be fixed in the next day or two.
Well, they're ready to go. Let's put it that way.
They're in stock. Yeah, this room is the what do they call this? Like the studio scale display room. This is not the contest room.
I thought that aircraft carrier was hilarious. Unlike a regular Navy aircraft carrier, he had ships from all of the different franchises on the flight deck.
Millennium Falcons, Enterprises, all sorts of stuff. It was neat. But one, talking about crossover and modelers are modelers regardless of genre. Any of you ship modelers, you may know the name Devin Poor. And he's actually a huge supporter of this particular room that we're looking at here, the studio scale stuff. I don't know which ones of these were his or that he was involved in, but he's always there. And this is his group that puts on this big studio scale layout and setup.
I was blown away by the studio scale Eagle from Space 1999 that they had on display in the B room.
Okay. Oh yes, back in the back corner.
It's like 8 feet long. It was amazing.
Yeah, I really liked those sand crawlers they had in there. I don't know if it's this one or if it's the next one. There were two of them in there. Yeah, it was this one. The inside of this thing was just nuts. Yep, even the Jawa's eyes are glowing. Yeah.
Yeah. There's one with a bad motivator.
Excuse me. So, Jared,
Mhm.
what was your takeaway from the show? I mean, what you said you got some projects you want to get done for next year. We talking about figures, talking about spaceships? I mean, what's your thing that you're into?
So mine will be figures. In fact, this guy here, my Weapon
Oh, nice.
X that I got at the show, which I
Okay.
would bring closer, but he's just
You're
kind of
not glued together.
together. But yeah, I got him, got my pyramid head from Silent Hill, and then I got a Ripley from Alien that I want to
Okay.
put together. So that's 3 among the other projects that I have. So got a Rogue and Gambit and a Green Lantern to go on top of that all. So
All right.
y'all
Well,
should see a lot of my show and tell stuff show up, hopefully.
well, that'll be good. I just got to finish the dang Dora.
Yeah.
If I finish it, emphasis on if, I'm taking it to Wonderfest.
Well, if you put a Hannibal
Good.
next to it, you're good to go.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, they are trying to branch out into more military stuff. There actually were a few in the
Yeah, there was a
contest
few.
this year.
Yep.
So when we get to the contest room, y'all see some of those sprinkled out on the table. So
Yeah, not
they're
very many.
wanting to broaden that, but yeah, not very many, but you do see them.
Well, I think that over the years, and although it was the first show that I've attended, I certainly know about Wonderfest.
Right.
And the show has a very, very strong and solid reputation for catering to the science fiction, fantasy, movie, horror genre of modeling in our hobby. They've I'll just say it plain. They got a really good thing going, and I don't think they need to deviate from it.
Yeah, when Jared says they're trying to branch out, perhaps a better way to put it is they're not going to turn away any model.
Right. That's a better way to say it.
All models are welcome.
Yep.
So that's.
But I think there's an expectation that people go to Wonderfest knowing that unless it was the Tiger Tank from Kelly's Heroes, you leave certain types of models at home.
Sure.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, it's not like this is the only game in town. There's certainly model shows that cater. There's far more model shows that cater to aircraft and armor and military modeling than there are that cater to this genre.
Yep.
And it was really kind of cool. I was really bummed that I missed the photo.
Yeah, you fell asleep on us. But
I fell asleep.
I guess I should have called you and reminded you. So on Saturday night at midnight, all who will, everybody's welcome. We meet outside up under the covering there and take a big Wonderfest group picture. I have not seen the picture yet, or I would have posted it there. Yep. They usually take a week or two to get that posted. That's the Iron Modeler contest where they just build stuff at random out of a whole bunch of, extra sprues?
Greeblies.
Yeah, Greeblies. Okay. This is the NRA, as they call it. And if you know, you know. And if you don't know, I'm not going to tell you right now, but you can probably imagine what that means. And then we're moving into the main contest room. And as you can see, there are literally over 1,000 models in here. Starting with what scale was this? Did you say
1/3?
1/3 scale. Jaws.
Yeah.
It's massive.
Super cool.
Yeah.
And the crazy part, and I said that I think I may have said it to you, is that when you go and you stand next to that model, that 1/3 scale shark is as big as most average sharks that you see in 1-to-1 scale. It's like, I'm not going back in the water.
Yeah, I don't care what scale it is. I don't want that thing swimming next to me.
Yeah, if they had stood it up, it would have been about as tall as I am.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah,
the dinosaurs here were just amazing.
Yeah, this table here against the wall, if I understand correctly, these are the I forget what they call them, the masters, if you will. They're not a part of the contest. Some of these I know are the judges, or for whatever reason that they've won it all, multiple times, and they don't compete anymore, but they still offer a display table for those guys to come and show their work from the year.
Yeah.
But they, every year they try to do something new. They got a few staples. I would say 75% of the vendor room is the same guys every year. People look forward to seeing them, look forward to buying stuff from them. They have their celebrities. Most of the celebrities are writers or sculptors or special effects people dealing with movies and that sort of thing. Sometimes you get some actors, or in this case this year actresses. So it's kind of I forget who said it right back when we started, but it is kind of a mix of a sci-fi convention and a model convention.
Yeah.
With a very heavy emphasis on the model convention of it, obviously. So, but I've got this whole video with a little bit of music noise ready to go, and I'll get it posted up to the channel after this evening. But you want to see big sharks, Jeff? Come down to Australia.
Nope. Nope. I kind of like being the apex predator at the buffet. I don't want to. I don't like it the other way around.
Yeah. I think everything in the water in Australia can eat you or sting you to death, or
I think
something.
90% of the things that are in Australia can kill you, and the other 10% that can't kill you still want to kill you. Except quokkas. Quokkas are really cute. They don't want to kill you.
Oh man. Miami says, learn so much about brush painting from figure modeler videos. That statement has a lot of meaning to it. And what I mean by that is you can learn a lot no matter what you're trying to learn from watching videos, watching other people do what they do. But if you're going back to my point about learning other techniques from other genres of modeling, yeah, absolutely. These guys, what they're able to do with paintbrushes and airbrushes and all the tools. I mean, you can apply a lot of that little squirrel there, all the techniques, and that dragon back there, all those kind of techniques, that kind of stuff can be applied not only to your armor, but to your scenery. Think of your dioramas and all the rocks and the mountains and the road beds and everything. Techniques are techniques, and to see people apply them in different ways than we're used to, you can learn a lot of stuff.
What I think amazed me about walking through the vendor room or the exhibit room was that, and this is not a knock on the military guys by any stretch of the imagination, but when you walk through, say, an AMPS convention and everyone has built armor, everything is done within the confines of what appears on armor. The weathering and the rusting and the paint chipping and the environmental effects that appear on a tank are replicated over and over and over again.
Well, you're trying to replicate something that's real.
But here, the subject matter is so diverse.
None of it's real.
Right. But the subject matter is so diverse that there is so much and so many unconventional techniques that you see on the table. And if you stop and you look at a particular figure, and whether it interests you or not, you look at what the modeler did and you think, that makes perfect sense. I never would have used bright green or yellow or brown or purple, but he did, and look what happens. And then you stash that away in the nether reaches of your brain somewhere, so that when that comes around again, hopefully you apply it to what you're doing. I was just blown away by just how vast the technique spectrum was. If that makes any sense. I don't know. It was just mind-boggling.
Right. Tom says, Brandon, do I know that we have great white sharks down in the Gulf? Remind me not to go back in the Gulf.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, Dave says he'll stick with the military arena. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Bears,
You know,
gators, venomous snakes, bobcats, sightings of panthers, and of course armadillos.
Armadillos.
And
Gotta love 'em.
and if you go down to Ringgold, Georgia, and you hang out at Brandon's house, you got to worry about Pepe Le Pew.
Oh yeah,
the attack skunk that lives under the paint shop.
Yep. Yeah, him and the massive alligator snapping turtles that randomly walk through the yard. Oh man. I don't know. It was a great time. We always loved the show. Jeff, I'm glad that you got to go to it. Jared, what's your favorite thing that you saw there that surprised you the most?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
Circle back to me. I got to think about that one.
Oh man. Well, yeah, I mean, and I don't guess it has to be one specific model. That's not what I'm asking. Just I don't know. I guess to some extent you already answered the question because you said there were so many more models here than you recall.
Right.
12 years ago.
Yeah, that would be a good one. When I walked in the vendor room and just, oh wow, there's so many to see. And like you said, I'm really glad that we had the opportunity to go in there and spend a little time before the vendor room opened, because once we start going, we don't really have time to go a few doors down to see everything. So
oh yeah,
it was good to have that kind of an opportunity.
Yeah.
Jason says another issue with my house might be the occasional ghost due to the proximity to the battlefield. One of these days I got to get over to the battlefield, take some videos and pictures and show you guys what it currently looks like. Also, it's very cool over there. Lots of cannons. That's very interesting.
That piece right there that was in the video, The Bride of Frankenstein, and they did it in grayscale, for the black and white.
Yeah.
Just absolutely stunning use of just two colors. To be able to pull that off in just black and white is just absolutely amazing.
Right. Yeah, they excuse me, goodness. They had I cannot get this out of my throat. They do their judging on Saturday evening. I think they close the vendor room at 5:00 and they spend the rest of the evening judging. And then you'll see a lot of these orange things here, what they call their merit award. And basically they do gold, silver, bronze here.
Mm-hmm.
And basically the merit award is their way of saying, you didn't get a silver or you didn't get a bronze, but you did a great job. Don't give up. You're very close. Sharpen up your techniques, I guess, come back and you're right there on the verge of what it takes to make bronze. So it's kind of neat. Some people appreciate that.
The Jim Henson piece was really popular.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. That was the guy. I forget his name, but the guy had the real, the 1-to-1 when he was walking around with it. Yeah, there's just so many things. I'm going to skip forward here because there was a whole nother row worth of figures. Let's see if we get over. I loved the Ninja Turtle.
Oh yeah, that was really cool.
Right here's where it starts. Then you get into all the spaceships and all this kind of stuff. And they were just I knew what a lot of them were, but some of these things are just, I had no clue what I was looking at. You had to go over there and, oh, that's what that's from.
You read the book because most of these guys had
right.
Yeah, most of these guys had a full dissertation.
Oh yeah, yeah. And in a minute when we get around to the other side, those very large scale ships. and I don't even know what one of them was. I forget what it was. It was from I forget. You'll see it in a minute, but it's like 3 feet long. Oh, it was awesome. Just all sorts of stuff. They get into the anime stuff and all the Bandai stuff. You get they've got the junior category. They got the comedy category. They got their little, I don't know if they call them vignettes and dioramas, but basically that's what they had over there. Then here's all their Gunpla stuff, Mecha and Gundam and
Machine and Krieger was pretty popular too.
Yep. And then
it's good to see that stuff, you know. And
oh yeah.
I had a friend who came up from Louisville, and he had never been to Wonderfest before, and he, after we walked around, he said, you know, you did 2 things. He was mad at me, jokingly, of course. He says, the first thing is, he said, you have reignited like the 12-year-old in me, because I'm walking around and I'm seeing model kits and posters and memorabilia from all of the sci-fi shows that I watched when I was a kid.
Right.
And then he got to meet Robin Curtis, and he's like, he lost his mind. He's like, and then he got mad at me because he's like, why didn't you tell me about this before? I live right here. This thing goes on every year, and every year I've missed it until now. And yeah, so I mean,
it's one of those things, you know, if you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah.
But
and he's not even a modeler. I mean, he just came to the show, you know, like he said, it was just a flood of memories coming back.
Right.
From all of the things that the monster movies and Night Gallery and the Twilight Zone, all those shows that he Lost in Space, and My Favorite Martian, all that stuff that he watched as a kid, suddenly just all came rushing back.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And if you want to find out about sci-fi movies and shows that you never knew about, just go to Wonderfest.
Yep.
You'll learn about things you never knew about. Yeah, they're getting into your dinosaurs.
Yep.
Yeah, so the we talked about Randy Van Dyke and our Memphis Belle piece, which he was actually nice enough to let me bring that home with us. So this will be on display in the store, his paint up of this. So he showed this off Saturday night, and in the NRA contest, and explained to everybody that he painted it with our paint. The next morning, I think Jeff was kind of blown away. The doors to the show opened, and we had a solid line for about 20 to 30 minutes. Yep. People standing in line to buy flesh tone paint sets, and we literally sold out. Jeff says, I have never in my life seen a line for people waiting to buy paint.
Yeah.
But, you know, Randy did an absolutely fantastic job on this kid, and the pictures look nice, but seeing it in person and seeing what is possible with an airbrush, with our paint, you know, they're all into it now. So, and then, so, you know, we say Squadron adding to the stash since 1968. Randy has taken this concept to a whole new level.
Yeah. Without a doubt.
Randy has recently acquired a second home in another state.
He's snowbirding now.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So he's got a second home now, Arizona and what was it, Michigan?
Michigan.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And he works with Mark next over at Filmy's Girls, a couple tables down from us, and he paints up a lot of Mark's stuff, kind of like he did for me. And I noticed that he was buying some more kits from him that I knew for a fact he already had. And then he came down to us and he wanted to buy a bunch of paint. And I'm like, Randy, I gave you this paint because you painted these samples for us. And he says, yeah, well, I want to buy more. I said, okay,
Yep.
whatever. And he says, well, I got my second home now, and all of my models and all of my paint are out in Arizona. I need to get a copy of everything I have in my new house. Man, I laughed for the next 5 minutes because I realized that not only is he adding to his stash, he's making sure he's got his stash in both places, regardless of where he's currently, staying.
Yep.
Yeah. So that gave me a big laugh.
I cracked up when I heard him say it, and it was like the line from Lord of the Rings. And what about second breakfast? And he's literally he doesn't have to move his stuff in between his houses. He's just got two individual and two distinctly different stashes.
Dave, curious, are you going to start carrying any of these items? So, as far as what we carry, Dad kind of always jokes me about wanting everything. And I guess to some extent, I would love to have everything in the warehouse, and I'd love to offer you guys everything. The specific problem with a lot of this stuff you see at Wonderfest is it's literally unobtainable for me.
Yep.
Like we were talking about earlier, some of these sculptors, like that Cretaceous Creations guy, or like this Filmies Girls guy, or there's a handful of others. They make such small production runs of these things, like literally under 100, sometimes under 50 copies of each thing worldwide. I know Mark, a lot of his stuff, he'll literally sell out at Wonderfest, and that's it. If you didn't get them, you're not getting them.
Yep.
And then, so my point is, a lot of those things would not be available for me to buy, even if I wanted to. And then the other thing, as we look through this contest room, I would say probably a good half of this stuff, if not more, are one-offs, 3D prints. Sometimes people may have bought a file from somebody. Perhaps they commissioned somebody to make them a file. Perhaps they made it themselves, and it truly is a one-off. So a lot of these things in here in this contest room, if you see it and you say, wow, I've never seen that kit, there may be a reason for that. It may not actually be a kit that could be purchased in a traditional way.
Yeah.
Sure, a lot of this stuff, in the next couple of days or few days, you'll see the Mobius brand of products show up on our website. We've had it before. The Pegasus brand of products. So we're going to start carrying those as much as possible now. Tina Controls is a new brand that we just got, and that is lighting kits, LED lighting kits. So you see a lot of these spaceships flashing and blinking. A lot of that stuff is from this company that we're going to carry now, Tina Controls. And you'll be able to light your stuff up. The cool thing about them is they actually have an aircraft carrier hangar lighting set. So that's a perfect crossover product for us. So, Dave, to answer your question, I would always love to get anything we can get our hands on, but a lot of this stuff specifically is just not available for us.
Yeah, I think you summed it up. It's unobtainium.
Yep, unobtainium.
Right.
Unobtainium. And there's so many, and again, I'm not knocking IPMS or any of the other, but you go to an IPMS show and you read the card and it says Tamiya, or it says Hasegawa, or it says TACOM or Meng or what, all the companies that we know. And that's the overwhelming majority of what you see. You go to this show and you look at the card and it's scratch built. It's custom 3D. It's scratch built. It's there's just so much, as you said, one off and extremely low production stuff.
Kit bashed.
Shane at Cretaceous. I always say crustacean. Cretaceous Creation. Sorry, he had a kit, his new kit, and I don't remember the name. It looked like a T-Rex, and it was a big kit, and I was toying with it. And he came over and he said, I got 8 of them, and they were all gone within the first hour and a half. Everyone knew that he had them. Everyone knew that he had 8 of them. And the same thing with Filmies Girls. They were putting boxes out, and 2 hours later, most of those kits were gone.
A few of the guys in line for the early bird had literally been sitting in line since the early morning hours, like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, because they know that if they don't get, but this year was the first year that we actually had something that people were really going after. We had dozens of those paint sets, and they were just gone like that.
Well, we were going out to the trailer and actually boxing up paint sets, because all of a sudden Jared would say, that was our last Enterprise set. And we'd run off and we had
the backup stock in the trailer.
The backup stock, and we're making boxes out there and bringing them in. And it was crazy because I'd think, okay, we'll do another 5 or 6. I'd go out and do another 5 or 6. We'd put them on the table and they'd be gone an hour later.
Yeah.
It was just amazing.
Yeah, Jeremiah, progress on our airbrush. So it has occurred to us, and you guys probably will laugh at me as soon as I say this, but we are really, really, really good at announcing things we want to do. Well, we have decided that we want to actually bring some of those things to the finish line before we get bogged down in more announcements and more projects. So our proprietary airbrush has been put on hold in lieu of looking into a couple of the big name airbrush companies. And we're in talks with them to bring them in stock and just not worry about doing our own, and let the guys that are tried and true and that have a good product continue to make a good product, and we'll just offer those and sell them. So more on that to come. Yeah, if they had not allowed us, the vendors, to go into the contest room Sunday morning before the show started, we literally had never got to see all this stuff.
No.
Yeah, that back there behind there's that tank sitting there. That's that Apocalypse tank from the Red Alert series.
We sold a bunch of the Red Alert stuff.
Oh yeah,
this weekend. Yep. Everyone was excited to see those kits.
Oh yeah, I really hope they continue that. This is that kit that I was talking about. Not that one. That's I believe that's a mini Arctic, but that kit there, whatever that is, I don't even know how to say that word.
If I heard correctly, 90% of that was scratch built.
It was, yeah.
Okay.
It was all scratch built, 3D print stuff, photo etch, random pieces of photo etch stuff. It's just,
that thing was impressive.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Steven says it's a space battleship.
Cygnus
kit.
Okay.
Oh, from the black hole. Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha. Very neat.
And I'll tell you what, I was looking at the Star Trek model. There is more collective knowledge in that hotel for those 2 days than anywhere else on the planet.
Yep.
We think now, and again, here I am. It seems like I'm always offending somebody, but we hear the term rivet counters. And I've been called a paint Nazi because our color's not right, whatever. I'll tell you what, there are guys who can tell you that, that line of rivets along the back side of the phaser cannon was not there in the 3rd and 4th episode. And, these guys, they know this stuff.
Well, Jared and I both got a lesson on, it was one of the Enterprises. I love Star Trek, but I love it just to see it. I do not know very much about it. Guy was telling Jared and I about how the Enterprise that was shown on one of the display screens in the movie was not accurate because it was supposed to be the refit and they didn't change the display for the movie, and it was the original. I'm like,
yeah, and the windows weren't right, and that's how you could tell if you look at the front. I was like, okay.
So Steve Iverson, the Cult TV guy, he has a suite that he invites people to come and hang out and talk and whatnot, and he'll have a lot of the industry guys in there. I went in and said hello, and the guys from Round 2 were there, the guy from Paragraphics was there, the guy from Tenant Controls was there. You get to meet all these industry guys. And to your point about the collective knowledge of Star Trek stuff there, Gary Kerr was he's always at Wonderfest, the guy that helped us design our paint colors. So you get all these people, and Steve said, if they were to drop a bomb on this hotel, the industry would have a massive loss in the sci-fi department.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's just so many people there, whether they're from the industry or whether they're just general knowledge of their subject matter.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
If you have a question about science fiction shows, movie monsters, this is the place to go to get it answered.
Mhm.
yep, it is true. Yep. We started walking around the room Sunday morning. I started videoing, and I actually told Jared, I said, hey, you better go to the other side of the room and start videoing, because I don't know if I'm going to finish before we have to go, before the vendor room opens. And thankfully I did. So that's why I didn't ask you for your videos, Jared.
Yeah, fair enough.
I was able to get it all, but it's just so much to look at. I'm trying to figure out how in the world I'm going to video all the kits at Nationals this year.
Yeah, I think you finished up with what, 5 minutes left?
Yep, I finished here with 5 minutes, and we ran down to the room and
Mhm.
barely made it in. But
Oh, there's a Jaws diorama coming up, I think, that was really cool.
okay. Oh, there you go. There's your couple of military guys.
Ah, there we go. Yeah, there it is.
Miami says, were there any Gilligan's Island themed kits or dioramas there? Not that I specifically remember, but I literally went through this so fast, I don't even know what I videoed. And then earlier today, I threw this video together, and I was just trying to get it done. So to be honest with you, after I post this video tonight, I'm actually looking forward to watching the video myself, because I didn't really get a chance to take it all in. So, Matt, yep. If it didn't take so flippin' long to do it, I think I'd do a second Dora kit and paint it in Mountbatten pink.
No.
Oh my
you would
gosh.
not. No.
That's not going to happen. I'm going to be doing good to finish the one. Hey, I do know that speaking of Mountbatten pink, 2 of the new colors that she finished up today were the other 2 Mountbatten pinks, the British versions, the light and the dark. Yeah, there's you. You can't really tell from the pictures, but that was an excellent
Yeah.
kit and an excellent display of a lighting kit.
They had sound with that one too, that you could
Mm-hmm.
press the little buttons on that screen there, make the different sounds.
Oh, yeah. Yep, there's you another. I think that's the mini art kit that Tribe Flugel.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a few military themed kits mixed in there. Need to get a Hanniboo in there. That would be the perfect crossover for Wonderfest.
Yeah,
you
that
go.
would be. We did sell a couple of them, so they might hop on the table next year.
Well, like I said, it is a perfect crossover. I mean, it's kind of military, it's kind of sci-fi, it kind of fits both.
Mm-hmm.
Ed, no, not the family room, but it's funny you mentioned that, because she actually did pick it. I mentioned we have a swimming pool, and there's a little pool house out there that's got a little bathroom and kitchenette in it. And she did pick out the color we're going to paint the inside of the pool house out of the colors. So
Mountbatten pink.
No. No, it's not Mountbatten pink, but it is I forget, it's in the Universal series. It's the Caribbean blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Caribbean blue is going to be painted in our pool house.
So you wanna hear a funny story? It'll only take a second, but
All right.
my wife comes downstairs, 3 years ago, and she says, I want to borrow your paint fan deck book, because I'm looking about painting the master bedroom. And I said, sure. And I said, here's a bunch of paint chips. and I happened to hand her just a set of U.S. Navy paint chips. And lo and behold, I had nothing to do with it. But the ceiling is light gray. 3 of the walls are ocean gray, and one of the walls is haze gray.
You are the ultimate ship modeler.
Oh.
And when she said, these are the colors I like, and I'm like, yes.
Well,
I tried to do it in a dazzle scheme, but she wasn't having any of that. So yeah, so the ceiling is 5L light gray, and 3 of the walls are ocean gray, and one of the walls is haze gray.
well, now you just need to get some deck blue carpet.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've got if the outside of your house is like mine, but the ground level, and then when it goes below the ground level and you got the concrete blocks, you need to paint that anti-fouling red
with a boot stripe.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, Jeff, I'm glad you were able to go. Jared, it looks like you went this year, you went last year. Are you hooked? Are you there every year with me?
Oh yeah. I think this is my favorite show, personally.
Yeah. It went to the top of my list.
Well, I gotta say that that IPMS Nationals is probably still my favorite show, just because the massive amount of my friends that are there. But more and more people that I know are starting to come to Wonderfest. So IPMS Nationals and Wonderfest are certainly 2 shows that I really look forward to. But I can't leave the AMPS Nationals out because I really haven't gone to it that many times. But we went this year, we went last year, and we've been a couple of times before. We went when it was in Atlanta 10 years ago. We went to the South Carolina one, but it's a great show too, and I think that's probably going to be on our go every year list from now on as well.
Yeah.
So
and when you go to these shows, for any length of time, obviously you start to make friends, and there are people that are very good friends of mine, and I only get to physically see them in person at the Nationals every year. But this show was unique because with the exception of a handful of people who were crossover, nobody knew me.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know anybody else.
Yep.
And when you talk to people, it's like, hey, this is my first Wonderfest. And everyone was like, hey, welcome, and it was, I just think the overall mood and the overall happiness level of this show was about 5 times higher than any other model show that I've ever been to.
Well, good. Well, you have to go back next year and see if you feel the same way.
Well, we got some plans for next year.
There you go. We'll see what we can get done. Well,
big plans for next year.
Well, guys, I think we're going to say good evening and see if we can get back to the shop tomorrow and get some things done. I got a lot of stuff to add to the website, and I know what you're cooking on, and I know what Jared's cooking on. So we'll see what we can get done. Guys, next Wednesday night is the show and tell. So if you have not already, please send in your submissions to info@squadron.com with the subject line being show and tell. And we'll see what we can do next week, see what we can come up with.
I'll have the Spinosaurus from Wonderfest.
Oh, yeah. Send some pictures of that. That'll be great.
I'll have the Spinosaurus.
Jared, you going to have anything?
Not next week, but hopefully next month. We'll go with that.
There you go. Well, good deal.
Soon.
All right, guys. Well, thank y'all for joining me, and we'll see you next time.
Sounds good.
All right.
See y'all later.
Guys, I appreciate it. It's always a good time hanging out with you. Next Wednesday, show and tell. I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys have been building lately. Until then, take it easy, and let me know if I can do anything for you. Y'all have a good evening.